Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna use these nail tips, and you've probably seen them. They're the extra long nail tips, and I believe people probably use them. Really, their intended purpose is for displays, but they are so straight that they make the perfect shape for a tapered square. So I already did this hand, and I kind of accidentally came across something, so I'm going to share it with you guys. And that's one thing I always say: if you're learning, you need to be doing your own nails, because that's basically when you catch stuff and you figure out, you know, how this feels or how you can change this and make it better. So it's good to do your own nails. Now, I got these tip cutters from Amazon, and in the description it says that you can create different shapes with this cutter, and it's basically just by the angle that you hold it. So I use this to cut a C curve at the bottom of these tips, because this well don't do it for me. I don't like it. So basically, you take your tip, you put it in there, and then you angle the cutter just like that, and then you just cut, and you get a nice little C curve like that. And then you can go on the nail just like that. Now, these tips are very, very thick, okay? I'm talking about thick. And I take out that piece back there, and I file it right here. And then when I put them on, I'll file them some more, because I mean, they are thick. But so I'm gonna put them on, and really see, this would fit perfectly on my nail. So from sidewall to sidewall, it fits. But what I discovered is that if you use a smaller tip, you can create that very straight shape. So I was doing the other hand, and I got to the thumb. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this tip. So I got to the thumb, and it wasn't big enough for my thumb. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just use another clear tip. So I went and got another tip, and none of them were, of course, were the length of these tips, and I want them kind of long. So I was like, fudge it, I'll just use this small one and make it work. So when I put it on and I put my acrylic on over it, it was like the perfect shape. I didn't even have to file it much. So I'm gonna show you guys. So I'm gonna put it on, and I'm gonna put it more down here instead of up here on my tip. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. So putting it on, gonna press it down. So do you see that? Do you see how it comes straight out? There's no excess tip hanging off of the sides. Now you'll get to really see the difference when I put my acrylic on, but there's a little bit of overhang right there from my nail, but that's okay, because when I come in with the acrylic, I'll fill that in, and then all of the other acrylic will basically just go in and create that long shape. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So the best way to describe on how you put these tips on is, if you've ever used press-on nails, those nails cover your entire nail plate, but it doesn't come out the sides. So that's the best way to do it. Act like you're putting on a press-on nail, but don't bring it, of course, all the way down.
Okay, so do you see that? I don't have to take out anything on the sides because I used a smaller size than what I need. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna blend these tips in. I'm even gonna come up here and blend through. So the colors I'm gonna be using, Valentina in 163. And then this is just a random glitter mix that I have. And then I'm gonna use this iridescent glitter. And I believe I used this in my last video. Twilight Evening, that's what this is called, Easy Flow. I don't know where I got it from, but it was stashed somewhere in one of my drawers and I hadn't been using it, but then when I discovered it, I was like, oh, that's pretty. So I've been using it. And now I'm using one of the Nail Supply Glamour's iridescent acrylic glitter, and it is in AB2. And then I'm gonna be using a nude, and this is just a nude from my local nail supply store. And I'm also going to be using these stickers. So this is what I based my design around. I just got these recently in my haul, and here lately I've been doing pretty good about trying to use stuff that I just recently got. So this is one of them. This is the stickers that have caught my eye, and I'm like, I need to use those. So I'm gonna use them on myself today. So for my prep, like always, I'm using me a secret. I'm gonna use the dehydrator and then the primer. So I'm gonna dehydrate these first. Then I'm gonna prime twice. So I'm going to be doing the glitter. So I'm gonna take my dapping dish and I'm gonna clean it out with some acetone. Just gonna make sure that it's super clean. And then I'm gonna pour my monomer in. And this would be the dapping dish I use for my glitter. I'm gonna put a paper towel down because it might get messy. Now I'm gonna take my dapping dish and I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna press it all the way through the bottom. I don't know if y'all can see that. All the way through. So it releases any air bubbles. Now I'm gonna come through with a wet bead and pick up my glitter. I'm gonna dip into the Twilight first and then into the Nail Supply Glamour. So I'm gonna double dip, gonna apply it, and I'm applying it wet, and I'm just gonna let it flow. Because I want this to be super clear. So I'm allowing the product just to kind of self-level. And I'm just gonna stroke it through the tip. I'm gonna make sure that I keep my sides clean. Now I'm gonna come in with just a dab of that blue iridescent glitter. And I kind of picked up too much. Just a dab. And I'm not gonna cap this right away. I'm gonna kind of let it set up and dry, because if I was to come in with a wet bead, because anytime you're trying to do a super clear nail, you need to be applying wet beads. So if I was to come in and apply this wet bead right now, it'll just drag all of that glitter down. So you don't wanna do that. And I'm doing another glitter nail, and I'm gonna do it on, let's see. Sorry, I hate y'all doing my own on video because it's so hard, because the way I have to position my hands and my fingers, it kind of looks like I'm throwing up some gang signs or something. But I'm gonna start with just a clear base. I'm gonna dip my brush in, make sure I press out the air bubbles, and I'm gonna pick up some glitter again. Same thing, double dip into the Twilight, into the Nail Supply Glamour. And then I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna let that set up just for a little bit. And this nail, I'm going to be doing a French, but my nail bed is going to be the glitter. So I'm gonna turn my finger around so I can really see. And I'm gonna press that down. Then I'm gonna point my finger down and kind of just let it flow where it wants to go. And then I'll start just forming it into shape. So I'm tucking in the sides because I want this to be a narrow French nail. So I'm gonna tuck in the sides and then I'm gonna start working on the top of the nail bed. I got too much, so I'm just gonna take a little bit off. I'm gonna turn it around, see how it looks from this angle. And I'm gonna start flattening out that nail bed and really start forming it into shape. I can really tell the shape by this view, how it's gonna look. Okay, once I have that done, I'm gonna come in and add the cuticle area. And I'm just gonna place it down, kind of shimmy it back to the cuticle area. And then I'm gonna slowly pick up my brush. Then I'm gonna work the side. Make sure that I tuck in the sides and just stroke it out. And then while it's still wet, I'm gonna add some of that loose glitter. And these have shards in it, which I didn't know, but I don't want the shards, I just want the loose glitter. Take out that shard. Okay, now I have it how I want it. I'm going to cap this. So I'm gonna do a real thin layer of clear because I'm gonna come back and file this. So if I didn't do it, then that glitter can sometimes just, you know, not do right. So I'm gonna make sure that I cap this. So I'm gonna start with a bead. That's probably too small, but it's what I picked up, make it work. So I'm gonna place it down. And I did drain that bead out. This powder, it's not my favorite because it takes a long time to set up and it's cold here where I'm at, so that's not helping either. So I'm just gonna work with it. So I'm gonna take my time, kind of start letting it set up, and I'm just gonna focus on the sides. Gonna make sure I flatten out the back. And I'm gonna start walking that down. Pick up some more liquid. And I'm gonna need another bead for the end there. Okay. Gonna go ahead and do my cuticle bead. Let's try to do this where y'all can see. So I'm gonna place it and I'm gonna set it down and I'm gonna leave it just for a couple of seconds. Then I'm gonna tuck in the sides. Then I'm gonna come through and make sure that my cuticle area is nice and tight. Tuck in my sides. I'm gonna look at it from this angle, make sure that my sides are clean. They keep wanting to flood, but I'm watching them. Turn it this way. So I'm making sure that I'm extending my acrylic and I'm covering all of my nail plate. Now I'm going to come in with my sticker and I'm going to fill the top part. So I'll use, let's see, I think this one might fit. Take it off. And sometimes these stickers will stick right on, but sometimes they need a little help. So I'm going to get my nail glue. And I'm just gonna add a little bit. Kind of let it get tacky. Then I'm gonna come in. Place that down. There. Get it as straight as I can. Okay, now I'm gonna press that down. Like that. And that little bit sticking up, I'm going to take my nippers and just nip it on off. You don't want no overhang when you're encapsulating stickers. It won't encap right. Okay. Then I'm gonna come in with my nude and kind of just do a fade. I'm not gonna be precise about it because I'm gonna add diamonds. I'm gonna start at the cuticle area. Hold it a couple of seconds. Release it with my brush. Press that acrylic in. And then I'm gonna start working on the back. And make sure it's all the way to the side. Then I'm going to start pressing it down and then just letting it blend right there. My other stickers, I'm going to use a snake and then I'll probably just use one of these. So let's see, I'll use not too big of a one. Trying to be real careful when you pick up these stickers because they're super delicate. So I'm gonna place him, down here. If he sticks, let's see. There we go. And press him in. Just like that. Let's see. Not easy trying to get it straight with one hand available. Yeah. What y'all think? It's a little bit bigger, but I don't think you can really tell the big difference. I might add diamonds there too, so it doesn't matter. Now that I have everything where it goes, now I'm going to start smoothing it out. I'm going to come in with my safety bit and just file any glue that has gotten on to that nail bed. Not going to be much. I applied it pretty good. And then all I'm going to do is cap it. Here's my application. Now I'm going to just file these into shape. See, and that's pretty much it. That's minimal. I mean, you know, to get it into shape. That's minimal filing to do. Okay, y'all, it is day 2 of me doing my nails. That's pretty typical when I do my own nails because I'll have to stop and leave, and the next day I'll come and I'll try to finish them up. So I'm doing good because normally sometimes it takes more than just a few days. But I got them filed, and this is both hands. Now this is the one where I did the smaller tip size, and it was so much easier to file. I just filed the shape and then went over the body, and it was pretty easy. This one, it's still, I feel like, not as good as this hand, but just considering that I'm doing it on myself too, I got to take that into consideration. So I did struggle with this hand, and it took a lot of effort to get them into this shape. So I'm gonna try, well, I'm not gonna do this on my clients yet with the tips. I'm gonna wear it and see how it wears out, how it grows out, and then I'll know from there if this is something that I want to do, you know, on my clients. I did see one nail tech, and I don't know why I didn't remember, but she was saying that she did that. She kind of used a size smaller than what was needed when it came to tips, and I don't know why I didn't put it together, but it really does make a narrower tip, so I don't know. But now I'm just buffing it. So I'm gonna buff them, and then I'm gonna add some diamonds, and I'll come back and show you guys the finished look. All right, guys, here are the finished nails. They're a little bit extra for me. I typically don't do this kind of style, but I had the design in my head, so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and just see what I can do. I love the shape. I think the shape came out really, really good. And yeah, tell me what you guys think.